Hi, I'm Lisa. You know, on Let's Learn to Get Along, we talk about life's daily issues. Issues that we learn together, how to deal with them, overcome them, and to prepare for what is next. You know, we've come a long ways, but yet we have a long ways to go. Many of you have opened your hearts and minds, and I'm very proud to be a part of you. Also, we learn together honesty in dealing with reality helps us grow in a positive manner. Ladies and gentlemen, you know I get a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when there's a guest in the house. There's a young lady in the house, a beautiful young lady. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Great.
Now, wait a minute. Who are you?
I'm Nicole Belle-Isle.
Wait, that's a very unique name. Nicole Belle-Isle?
Belle-Isle, yes.
Now, wait a minute. Where do you come from? What about you?
I was born and raised in Minneapolis.
And that name, it sounds like a French or something.
It is French.
Really?
It means beautiful island.
Ooh, and you're a beautiful person.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, now tell us a little bit about who you are first.
I'm a licensed special education teacher as well as reading teacher. And I'm a minister at High Praise Ministries, the Destiny Center, which is located in North Minneapolis. And I'm also author of this book, Deliverance from Depression, Coming Out of the Darkness and Into God's Amazing Light.
Wow, you're a multi-talented individual.
Yes.
And now what is it you're going to share with us today?
I would like to share my experience of dealing with depression and then how I overcame it.
You mean you yourself went through this?
I did.
And that's what caused you to write this book about, you went through it, but you wrote a book too.
Yes, I experienced depression for 20 years of my life, from about the time I was 13 until I was 33. And during a lot of those years were very dark for me. I felt very hopeless during a lot of those years. And I just want people to know that it's not impossible to overcome. I never took medication, although I don't knock anybody who does, that needs it. But I myself had never taken medication. I just always believed that one day I would be free.
Amen. Now, wait a minute. I think of children because as a child, I went through it. You're telling me you were about 13 years old.
Yes.
Can you help me understand some of the things you were going through?
It first started when I was just started experiencing up and down moods. I didn't know where they came from. I don't know why they started. I just really first started to notice, that I started to feel down easier, especially when I heard like a song that, a kind of a slow, depressing song. It just, all of a sudden my mood just started to drop. And I didn't know it was depression at the time I was dealing with it until, about ninth grade, when it first became to realize that it was depression.
Now, what made you realize it was actually depression and not just a phase? Because a lot of us hear the love songs, we start crying and, oh yeah, nobody loves me kind of stuff. When you're young, you want everybody to love you. You're going to the parties and stuff. And then you hear that music and other stuff peps you up. So you think that's just music. But then you get to thinking about how they mistreat you and your feelings are hurt. Or somebody says something that hurts your feelings and it changes. So what made that music hit you in that manner?
I first realized it was depression because I just really began just crying nonstop. And I used to lock myself in my room and wouldn't want to come out. I just became withdrawn from my family. The only time I would feel somewhat okay is when I was at school, and I think that's because I was around my friends, I was around people. I was very dependent upon people at that time, and it was people, kind of were my happiness, and that's not the way it really should have been. Yeah. It's because your happiness really should come from God. Mm-hmm. But that's where I was at the time, and it really caused a lot of pain in my life because of that, because people couldn't do what I needed them to do.
And see, that's another thing. You're saying something very important. Those people couldn't do what you needed them to do because, first off, they're not you. And a lot of us think that other people can help us. Sometimes they can, but the most important part is us. We have to heal within ourselves. We have to work on the changes.
Right.
And we can use some of what those other people do and live and say and apply it to our lives.
Definitely.
But a lot of people apply the negative more than they do the positive.
They do. And I used to blame people a lot for my condition. You know, blaming, oh, it's because you did this or you did that. And really it was within me.
You know, I have to admit, I, to this day, tell people stories about my life. How I've been molested, raped, beaten, shot, sewed, separated from my mother, my father, my brother, lied on, lied to, abused, drugged, boozed, prostituted. My own family mostly did this to me.
Wow.
And people go, oh my God, girl, you know, look at you, what helped you? Well, you know, I went to the alcohol, I was on the drugs, and I'm looking at these people and they're giving me this stuff, and I'm nothing but a kid. And I'm going, these people don't really care about me. Because if they loved me and cared about me, why would you have me getting high?
Right.
Why would you have me destroying my body and my mind? And so I started running away from home. And I moved up here because they used to bring me here every summer to give the family at home a break in Iowa. Because I was bad. I was hurting. I didn't know how to express myself. But to be with the bad people and let it out. You know, and that's wrong. We need to sit down and talk to each other. We need to teach each other goodness, not wrong. And the little girls, oh baby, we little girls, we need that love. We need that attention from mom and daddy. And if mom and daddy ain't gonna be there, grandma, grandpa, somebody. Hug us, teach us, share with us what we're supposed to do that's right and good. Not hurt us.
Exactly.
And so I put the blame on them. And then I had to stop and realize some of the things as I've grown, I could have said no. But I said yes because I loved and I cared for them and I tried to help them. And, you know, I can blame them, but a lot of it, as I grow, I can't keep letting them hurt me emotionally, spiritually, because they're still doing the same things to people and themselves.
Right.
So I had to learn how to say, you're not going to hurt me no more. I'm going to learn how to heal myself. And that's what you've done.
It is. And I used to actually hurt myself. You know, I used to self-injure myself. I used to cut myself. Yeah. And they were never really that deep, so I never had to be hospitalized or anything. But it still was a problem.
Yes. And a lot of kids are going through that right now. The parents aren't there. Half the parents are on drugs and alcohol, or they're working. I see, there's a building right out here in Bloomington. There's a little boy, whenever I go to visit these people, he's hanging out at the window where the parking lot is. He's hanging out the window talking, and there's no mama, there's no daddy. Who's watching this child?
Right.
And he's about 6 or 7 years old. I can't say nothing because I don't know who's on the inside. All I know is this child seems to be alone. What's going to happen to this little boy? You know? So some of the things you've done, you've hurt yourself. What are some of the things that got you to go on the path of healing? Really?
Well, first, I had a Christian friend that I met in high school, and I had been married for a short time, and then when I was going through like the divorce process, I had a suicidal thought, and I want to read this portion that I wrote in my book that day, or in my journal that day. I had written, it was on March 5th, 1996, when I wrote, "I was too close for comfort of ending my life tonight. I picked up my bottle of Tegretol, which is what I take for seizures, and just stared at it for a long time, or at least what seemed like a long time. My brain kept telling me to put it down, but my heart didn't want me to. I finally did put it down, because I started thinking of all the people I would never see again. Plus, I kept thinking of the children who I am going to school for in order to help them.
Yes.
I can't let them down. I know that there is someone who needs me. So I'm still here.
Now, you wrote that.
I wrote that.
Now, wait a minute. This is weird. My birthday is March 4th. And let me tell you something, sweetheart. When I was growing and going through changes, I myself, using the drugs that they put me on, would try to overdose. And I would be shown through God, no, you don't. You're here for a reason. You have things to do.
Yes.
You get that booty together, okay?
Yes.
And he guides me to people even today to help me keep doing the things I do and to write the best I can. And one of the things I had to learn to do was care about myself.
Yes, that's what I had to learn also.
They didn't teach me that either. And that's what I'm saying. The children is our future. We have no
Yes.
future without the children. We have to start teaching one another. And people like you coming here say, hey, look at me, Sonny. I'm telling you, we can get ourselves together.
Yes.
We need more like you. Now, you tell me you're teaching in school or church?
Yeah, I currently work at High School for Recording Arts in St. Paul
Wow.
High School. I'm actually not really teaching.
Oh.
I'm more so working with the special education paperwork side of it.
Okay.
But I'm still there.
And that you're communicating.
Yes.
So they know you, and you are helping in your own
Yes.
way. To me, it's like having more than one job. And you have more than one. You're there, doing the paperwork, but at the same time, you're communicating and teaching.
Yes.
You may not be getting paid for it, but that's a job too, ain't it?
Yes.
It's like I do this job here. I don't get paid for this. And I've been doing this since 1996. I do it from my heart. People go, girl, don't you get money? No, I don't. Nobody helps me. I do this myself. What?
Amen.
And see, that's just it. Each of us has the strength.
Yes.
Each of us has gifts. Each of us, we have a piece of intelligence in us. So why not grow? I need to put a book together of my own. Everybody says, Lisa, write the book, write the books. Well, I'm talking all the time or I'm on the internet communicating. It's kind of hard to just sit down and write a book. How did you do that?
I just sat down one day, and this was around 2013 when I started to work on it. And I said, it's just time for me to start telling my story so that people can know. And I actually put it down for maybe 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't know if I was going in the right direction. I wanted to be sure I was going in the right direction. And then in 2016, I have a friend who's also an author.
Oh.
Her name is Jamia B. Johnson. She kind of directed me, just encouraged me to finish my book.
Okay.
And I also had another young lady from my church who also encouraged me to finish my book. So I said, it's time. So
Amen.
I just sat down and just began writing again. I just picked up where I left off, and I finished my book.
Well, then I need you to pray for me because I've got, actually, to be honest with you, I probably got over 500 poems written. Where I began writing books about my life and haven't completed, and haven't completed yet. But I got to do it, don't I?
Yes.
I'm getting old, I'm sick, I'm tired, and had all these surgeries. My booty's hurt, but I'm helping everybody but me, as usual. One of these days, I'm going to run away. Where am I going to go? I don't know. Everywhere I go, somebody knows me darn near. If they don't, they end up knowing me, and I end up doing something to help them. But that's the way I am. Now, what else do you do? I'm curious. You got us going on about when you were younger. You've been married. Do you have any kids?
I do not.
Me neither. When I grow up, I'm going to have one.
I have a dog. That's
your
kid.
baby.
Yeah.
Yes, I've had animals too. Birds are my best friends. Okay, now you got this book going. Say the name of the book to me. Say everything that's on there.
Book is called Deliverance from Depression, Coming Out of the Darkness and Into God's Amazing Light.
Okay. What made you put God in there?
Because it was God that delivered me from it. And He was the only one who could. although I did have to take steps on my own before God could give me the deliverance, I started by just realizing I had negative thinking in my mind, and it was running rampant, and it would just really make me spiral downhill fast. And so I had to start by recognizing the negative thinking, and then once I recognized it, had to turn it around to positive thinking. I had to cast down the negative thoughts, turn it around to be positive. And then I really began to learn the Word, and I really began to speak the Word out, God's Word out. And that helped me to be able to change my thinking around. And even before I was totally set free from depression, I was on the way. I just began to feel hopeful.
Yes.
Even though I still experienced those down feelings, but yet I was starting to feel hope. And that's what God wanted for me.
Yes.
I had to do that for myself first before He could ultimately set me free.
I agree with you 1,000,000%, honey. A lot of people, I used to argue with a man who's in entertainment. And I used to tell him, no, I want to do the positive stuff. He goes, ain't nobody care about no positivity. I said, oh, yes, they do. In order to do something right, we got to come up with the positive. This is 30 years ago. But wait a minute, stop and look at what you just said. You had to start. You had to begin.
I did.
And telling yourself like it is. Not lying and being ugly and evil and crazy. Who wants to be like that? And that's part of the problem. Too many are doing that.
That's true.
They're hurting themselves and everybody around them. Everywhere you look on TV, someone's being shot, someone's being beaten. That's not the way we're supposed to be, honey.
No, it's not.
And this depression is a part of that.
Yes. And some people could be very well depressed because they are carrying around unforgiveness,
Yes.
Either of another person or of themselves.
Yes.
I know I experienced unforgiveness of myself, and I had to come to the point. I had a Christian counselor who said to me, well, if the blood of Jesus is not good for you, then nothing will be.
Oh, I like that. Say it again, would you please?
If the blood of Jesus is not good enough for you, then nothing will be.
Thank you, honey. Tell it like it is. See, a lot of people think that there's no God, or they act like there ain't one, or there's those that claim to be with God, but steady doing the negativity, the wrong, the evil, and the ugly. So, first of all, I go through this a lot because of the pigmentation of my skin. But, sweetheart, I'm black, I'm Indian, I'm French, and I'm German. The first three is my mom. My dad is a German. I didn't know this until I was 31. So sometimes I even say, hey, Hitler, I'm black. How you doing, Uncle? This crazy prejudice stuff got to stop, girl. And we in 2018, and they ain't learned nothing new yet. They play the same games, teaching people to hate and hurt each other and murdering. Most of our men are in jails and prisons. And got people coming in, living here free. This is not right.
No, it's not.
They help create depression.
They do.
They help create evil and ugly and ignorant behaviors. Right. They help create people hurting one another, teaching them even on TV. Yeah, here's the guns. Pow, pow, pow. Shoot
Right,
them.
exactly.
We're not supposed to be living like this.
No.
And then they get mad at me because I tell the truth. Oh, no, baby. I'm going to tell you like it is.
Yes.
We need our Creator back in our lives.
We need to love on one another.
Thank you. But let's learn to get along.
Yes.
Hello. I was living in Edina back in the day, sweetheart. And I used to go to the Cub grocery store over there on York. And the elders would hit me with the cart and ask me, nigger, what are you doing here? This is back in the 80s. And it would hurt my feelings because I was raised, you don't ever disrespect your elders, baby. So I couldn't beat them up. I couldn't cuss them out. And I'm going, how do I get them to stop hurting me? I love them. It don't matter your skin, you my elder. I don't care about we ain't no crayons. Forget that color stuff. So I had to go through that, and I'm looking at TV. I go, how the heck do I get on TV and stop them from hurting me? And I found out about public access in '96. So I created Let's Learn to Get Along. I'm so thankful you came on here. You got to come back on here more. Yes. Because we need help. And there's many, from babies to the elders, and you're helping us even right now, whether you realize it or not. This is beautiful. Because you're showing what I keep showing and telling other people. We can overcome this negativity.
We can.
You can say more. I'm sorry. Go ahead, hon. If you want to say more about it, go ahead, please.
Yeah, there is hope, for those that struggle with depression. It's not, you may feel hopeless right now, but I want you to know that there is hope out there.
And you can get it.
and you can overcome it.
Yes, you can. Because I've done it. I'm living right now in an environment where I'm being mistreated repeatedly. And God put me there for a reason, because I'm not the only one in that building being mistreated. I've been there over 5 years, and I've seen how they dogged so many people. It's very foul and rude and crazy and evil, bottom line, and doing things to hurt each other. And then you go, well, I'll move over here, I'll move over there. No matter where you move nowadays, it's the same. So why keep moving? Why not stay where you're at and help them learn how to do right by each other? Help clean up
Yes.
that nasty,
Yes.
stinking garbage. Help put out that evil and ugly and bring in that good and that love and that caring, that healing, that sharing. And I love it. I went outside the door today. I called the office and told them, I said, oh, honey, I'm happy. How are you? She said, what you happy about? I said, because I walked out the door and you got new caretakers here. They're cleaning the place and got it smelling good and ain't stinking, except for when you open up my cabinets. It smells from the people above me still come through the cabinets. Well, maybe we can work on something about taking care of that. But why did you make me wait 5 years to get that? It shouldn't be like that. We can't even find decent places to live nowadays. So that brings about depression, pain, and anger. We don't need more negativity.
We don't.
We need more God and positivity.
Exactly. You know, my love.
Honey, God's love is the
Yes.
greatest love in the universe.
Yes, it
Nobody
is.
loves like God,
He
baby.
doesn't.
And He gives His love to us to love others with as well.
Yes, he does.
And I love it.
And I know he set me free from depression so that I could help others.
And that's what you're here doing, ain't you? And
Yes.
please keep on doing that. We need you. So I've got you on the schedule more. I know I do. And go keep you on there. I'm going to bug
Thank
you. We need this.
Yes.
And see, the thing of it is, we are showing people from all walks of life. It doesn't matter the pigmentation of your skin.
No.
It doesn't matter your gender.
No.
It matters what you're living, learning, and growing and doing with your life, whether it's a negative or a positive. How you take it and show it around and say, we're going to do this right. This is what you've done.
Yes.
And I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Do you know how rare you are nowadays? It's not many like you, honey. Most people are drunk, drugging, abusing people, beating them, killing them. I mean, come on. That's not the way we're supposed to do it.
No, it's not.
Get the help we need and heal. You know, I talked that 5-minute stuff already. So, I'm going to give you a minute of this here 5-minute stuff. I'm sure you'll go over it a little more. And leave us with something to remember you by. You can look in there and tell us what you're going to remember. We can remember you by. You want to put
Okay.
it, there you are, number 2.
During my years of depression, I was often hopeless and didn't see a way out. I was walking in darkness many of those days. I did get glimmers of light every now and again, especially once I first accepted Jesus Christ in my life and became saved in 1996. And I did experience maybe about 3 years or so of not experiencing depression as much. But as soon as I slipped away from going to church, it came back. And came back like a storm, you know. And then I went through a whole lot, many more years of depression until I began to become closer to God, and He just really began to work in my life and to begin to change my thinking, which is where it all started.
Oh, yes.
It all starts with the thinking. If you think you're depressed, you're going to be depressed. You got to think, you know, I can overcome this. You got to start thinking positive. And as soon as I began to change my thinking, and at first it was really hard. It was just like doing an exercise. You know, and when you first learn a new exercise, it's really difficult. But the more you do it, the better you become. And so I just became really good at beginning to change my negative thinking to positive thinking and began speaking God's word out. And from there, God delivered me from my depression in 2008.
Amen.
And when I was at church through a prayer of a friend. And I've never looked back. I've been set free from depression now for 10 years. And I just want people to know that there is hope.
Beautiful. Amen. And see, that's, girl, we agree 1,000,000%. positivity, telling yourself. See, a lot of people don't realize what you tell yourself becomes reality.
It does.
If you keep telling yourself, I'm going to heal, I'm going to grow, I'm going to share, I'm going to care, I'm going to live, I got things to do, places to be, I'm going to do it.
Yes.
You do it.
Exactly.
But if you keep telling yourself, oh man,
I'm never
I'm
overcome
never going
this.
to, yeah, oh God, just, and then you start living in it, oh
Yep.
man, and you
You
don't
do.
do nothing but dwindle away.
Yep.
And that's why I learn as I grow from seeing other people experience, the same things or something similar to me, you have to keep with the positivity, honey.
Yes.
You have to teach yourself.
You do.
And I also refer to like when we were babies, we're walking, we're learning to walk, and we fall down. Well, get back up.
Yes.
I'm walking, I fall down.
back
And then you
up.
learn to walk.
Right.
Well, that's what life is like.
It is.
You're going to fall down, you're going to get up because we're stuck in the middle of the two. The right, the wrong, God, the devil, the good, the bad. And every time we do something good, the devil tries to get back in, don't
He
he?
does.
And every time we do something bad, God says, you better leave my babies alone.
Yes.
See?
And he did try to come back at me in 2009. And I was a fight that whole year for me to stay free from depression. But after that, he left me alone because he knew he didn't have me anymore.
Well, one of the things I learned is the light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am,
Yes.
God is, and all is well.
Amen.
I had to keep telling myself that because sometimes I get so mad at that devil. Girl, he's icky.
Yes, he is a lie.
Girl, you know what? Time flies when oh, honey, I'm so glad you came
Thank
here.
you.
I really am. You got to come back. Because, see, we need more help.
Yes.
We need more positive.
I would love to come back.
And we need to show people, hey, if she can do it, we
Yes.
can do it too. Okay? And how much time I got, Richard? You're looking at me like I only got a few minutes left. But I know I'm supposed to be close. Wait a minute, I ain't even close to the show. I'm having a ball with you, girl. Okay, first it was water that cleared the earth of all mankind. This time they say it will be fire. Look, all around the world, what do you see happening? A hole in the ozone layer, acid rain, New Orleans, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Pollution, global warming. Earth Mother cannot replenish her resources fast enough to satisfy our collective greed. Here, my breathing is horrible. I'll be all right pretty soon. The environment is almost at a point of irreversible destruction. I learned as a child, man shall destroy himself and all about him unless he makes the changes needed in order for us to survive. When all the trees have been cut down, when all the animals have been hunted, when all the air is unsafe to breathe, only then will you discover you cannot eat money. Poof! Mankind gone again because they ain't learned nothing new. Baby, I love rubbing this in. You can't eat money, first off. Can you buy your way to our Creator with money? No. Can you wipe your booty with that money? Even though some said they try. No. So stop and realize money is not all that it's supposed to be, baby. Especially if it's causing you to hurt yourself and those around you. Learn to love people instead of money. So open up your hearts and minds and let's learn to get along. Peace.